Thank you all so much for joining. This is the Transformed 2025 Virtual Awards Ceremony. You're joined today by myself, Amani Freeman. I'm the exhibitions manager for the Maryland Federation of Art. Also running point from Circle Gallery, we have one of our wonderful gallery assistants, Juliana Oakes. Just a few words on the MFA and what it is we do. The MFA is a visual arts nonprofit organization that hosts more than 40 exhibitions every year. Our mission is to make connections in the local and online communities through art with exhibits and events in Circle Gallery in Annapolis, Maryland, online and in numerous alternative venues. We provide artists of all genres, media, and backgrounds with the opportunity to exhibit work selected by professionally credentialed jurors and to be recognized with monetary awards. Artists do not have to be members to enter our exhibitions. However, members do have several advantages such as lesser entry fees, access to networking, and additional exhibition opportunities. If you're interested in learning more and becoming a member, please visit our membership page on our website, which is found at the link below. And a few words on this exhibition. For you all who have been with us for some time, this exhibition has taken on a new kind of name and direction. It was originally Eye of the Beholder, where we focused on found object. Just as of this year, we kind of opened it up to Transformed, which takes on a new meaning. So in Transformed, the artists were challenged to think about sustainability, consumption, and waste in a world increasingly aware of its environmental footprint. The works in this exhibition reflect a commitment to the belief that through art, something as simple as a discarded object can tell a new, rich story, providing insight into the connections we have with objects we use and the lives they've lived before finding their way into artists' hands. This exhibition is a celebration of resourcefulness, creativity, and the ever-present potential for renewal in our fast-paced, throwaway culture. As you walk through the gallery, you'll discover how objects that were once considered obsolete or meaningless can be transformed into pieces of art that speak to our collective past, present, and future. All original 2D and 3D work that followed exhibition guidelines was considered, and works selected by our juror are currently on display in Circle Gallery from October 31st to November 22nd, where we'll be having a closing reception at the gallery. So a few words on our juror, Jaynie Crimmins. Jaynie Crimmins is a New York City-based artist who transformed mass marketing catalogs, magazines, and security envelopes into intricate, hand-constructed works. By dismantling and reassembling these materials, she reimagines everyday printed matter as new visual narratives, exploring themes of communication and cultural memory. Her work has been featured at Art on Paper NYC and exhibited internationally at the Shirag Museum of Art during the Islamic Arts Festival in the United Arab Emirates, as well as the National Museum of Romanian Literature. Nationally, her work has been shown at the Spring/Break Art Show and the Governor's Island Art Fair. Museum exhibitions include the Muscarel Museum of Art at the College of William and Mary, Hudson Valley Museum of Contemporary Art, Peekskill, New York, Steinberg Museum of Art at LIU, Hunterdam Art Museum, the N.J. Zuckerman Museum of Art, Kennesaw State University, and the Alexandria Museum of Art. She is represented by Thomas Dean's Fine Art in Atlanta and shows with the Eliza Kazal Giskery in New York City. And at this time, I'm going to invite Ms. Crimmins to say a few words in introduction.
Hi, I'm Jaynie Crimmins. I wrote, and I hope you don't mind that I'm going to read a short jury statement, and then I want to talk about a little bit how I selected the works, but maybe I'll do that later. So I just want to start out by saying that jurying Transformed was both an honor and a challenge. The submissions reflected extraordinary imagination and depth, making the process of selection anything but simple. As an artist myself, I'm aware of the vulnerability involved in sharing one's work. The choices are difficult when the differences can be as subtle as those in an Olympic competition. In order to include as many perspectives as possible, each of the 65 selected artists is represented by a single work. Every work was considered through the theme of Transformed, as well as MFA's guiding criteria of communal meaning, openness, and stickiness. The resulting exhibition highlights transformation in many forms, through material, concept, process, and perception. While each work is distinctive, together they create a cohesive dialogue about change, renewal, and the power of art to shift how we see and understand the world. That is basically an overall statement. I mean, I can talk a little bit more about how I selected the works. because everybody really approached this theme so differently. It was really fascinating for me to look through the works multiple times. Basically, the things that struck me as authentic, which I don't know if that means anything to people, but when I say authentic, it means like it came from somebody's soul. So that was how the work had to speak to me in some ways. Some people physically altered their materials, giving discarded or familiar objects new form and meaning through repurposing, restructuring, or reimagining. Others explored transformation conceptually, examining change through a personal narrative or social commentary or an environmental theme. Still others revealed transformation through process, allowing experimentation, repetition, or time itself to alter their work's meaning or form. Each selection reflects a different way of understanding change, personal, social, or environmental, and together they offer a multifaceted view of what it means to be transformed. While every piece is distinct, they reveal how art can shift our sense of the familiar. So really, I just really enjoyed looking at everybody's work, and I want to commend everybody for having the bravery to submit their work to this program. So thank you. First honorable mention is Rosan Hunter. I don't know if that person is available to say a few words or not. Rowan McClanahan. I mean, these are the pieces that I selected for the honorable mentions are all people that used and manipulated materials in a specific way. Then the next honorable mention is Beverly Kingwood, which is, this is a very unusual way to address transformed, I feel like, in a wearable item. So that was really interesting. Melanie Berry in Cut to the Quick, beautiful mosaic. Neal Kaske took, wood and just transformed it into this beautiful object. Jeffrey Nicklason, Voltage. This was an incredible way to use all these old vintage kind of labels and boxes and things like that. Beautiful. This piece, A Jumble of Small Things, Priceless and Worthless, also very interesting piece and put together in a very interesting way. Thank you. And Ashley Summers, I thought this was a really inventive use of found materials, and it's also very beautiful and it's pulled together very well. The best in show is the tangible connections in the digital age. And I thought that this was like not only a quilt about decorative quilt, but it is really interesting that the way this artist put everything together and brought us into memory and ideas in a way that really resolved, transformed, and brought about, for me, a nostalgic feeling. So congratulations to everybody.
Yes, like Jaynie said, congratulations. This is just all the awards in one place. We will be uploading this list to the website as of tomorrow. So you guys can go find it there. The next is just a collage of the works that were included in the show. It's not every piece, but it gives you a bit of a more robust idea of some of the pieces that were featured in the show. And last but not least, my favorite part is trying to get you guys to talk and ask questions. Um, in any case, I think I'll open up with a question for you, Jaynie. Even though this exhibition, of course, was themed, transformed, and we kind of wanted people to focus on certain things, outside of the general framework, did you notice any trends emerging as you were looking through the works? Trends or ideas or kind of things that kept on coming up?
You know, not that I didn't notice a trend, but I felt that everybody really approached this differently. I mean, there are some beautiful pieces that were made with like one simple object and it was just transformed that way. And then there were things that were made with multiple objects. I mean, so I would say that a lot of the pieces, people approached it from putting together a whole bunch of different things and making it work as a single object. And that was really interesting. But there were people who took one simple thing, like the wood turning piece, and there was somebody who took some like automobile part and just painted it and transformed it into this elegant object. So everybody really did approach it differently, but there were certain overlaps.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that. I think that the artist that did that, he used, it was the engine of a motorcycle. And then like you said, he took that one piece and made it into a work of art. And I noticed that we have some of the award winners here. If you guys would like to comments, questions.
My name's Andrew Wall. I'm the guy who used it's actually a motorcycle exhaust pipe. So I'm just glad you mentioned it as something, a different approach. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, like I said, friends invited me to a vintage motorcycle show. They're really into motorcycles, the machinery, the performance, but I saw it more as art. And there are vendors selling old motorcycle parts for people to refurbish. And this man was selling a few dozen of these curvaceous, amazing pieces that are all handcrafted. And anyway, so I bought one specifically that at that moment to turn into sculpture. And then the Transform show came about. So I entered it and really pleased it got accepted.
It's beautiful, and it's very, very creative that you looked at that and you saw something totally different out of it. It's
Yeah,
beautiful.
the guys I was with couldn't believe it, but yeah. Anyway, all right. I just wanted to jump in.
Well,
Thanks a
thank
lot.
you. I'm so glad to meet you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you, Andrew, for
Thank
giving us some insight into what went into the piece. I think I
you.
saw Linda Popp raising her hand.
I did. That's the teacher in me raising my hand.
Okay.
I wanted to ask the artist that's the best in show, since I haven't seen the show in real life yet. I'm only looking at the digital on the screen. If she could tell us a little bit more about what these little shapes are and how she connected them.
Hi there. Well, it's nice to meet you all. This is my first show with this group, and I'm incredibly honored to be selected as an award winner, but I was incredibly honored to be selected for the show. When I read the description on the entry call, it spoke to me deeply and was probably the best description I've ever read in an entry call that captured the heart of what I do as a mixed media collage artist and why. And so I felt very drawn to this show. And again, my heart is pounding right now with this news. Tangible connections in the digital age is made completely of paper. So each square tile is two different pairings of paper to construct the front and back that were each adhered to a piece of cardstock. And then each one was hand punched and set with grommets and connected to its neighbor with ball chain connectors. And the purpose of it is an analog response to our current digital age. It is a physical screen that you can look at and look through and ground yourself in the space of the room and ground yourself in our physical reality. And an unintentional component of the work, but one that I discovered when I assembled it, is if you shake it ever so gently, there is a sound element that's very soothing. It sounds like water over pebbles. The front of the screen, each row was assembled horizontally, one row at a time. And so those patterns, that organization, it was intentional. So to me, that represents our conscious thought processes, how we retrieve information, how we store it. But the backside was a completely random configuration based off of choices made specifically for the front. So again, in my mind, the backside represents our subconscious, how we make associations and store memories, and it's not controlled. It's an organic process in its own right. So that is the meaning behind the piece. And I hope everyone is able to go see the show in person. I only caught a quick peek at drop-off day, but everything looked amazing that I could see, and I can't wait to go see it all in person.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for the insight. It's always a joy to hear the perspective of the artist, 'cause I feel like it's so deeply personal to you guys, and obviously we see it when it's done, but just getting to hear like what went into the process and like the thinking behind it, it always adds a different dimension. So thank you so much for that. Well, since I have you here, Ms. Popp, I'm gonna pick on you. Um, so your piece, it's always an amalgamation of different elements. Is there any what's the thought process behind this piece in particular, or was there any, or was it just things that came to you that you found visually interesting that you thought would work together?
This is really, I consider it my self-portrait. Um, as I said in my statement, it was inspired by an essay by Zora Neale Hurston titled "A Jumble of Small Things, Priceless and Worthless." An English teacher friend of mine said when she looks at my work, she thinks of that essay. So that prompted me to do some research. And what I loved was not only the idea that we have ourselves in these objects, they represent parts of our lives, but that also we could put all of our objects together and scoop out a new bag of objects, and we would still be happy because we could make connections with those objects. And to me, that's what I hope to do with my work, that you would see something in there, even though our stories are very different, it would cause you to reflect on your own narrative, and have that moment of memory. Yeah, so it was a lot of fun to do. The stilts are kind of a recurring image for me that's inspired by a world in Einstein's Dreams, the book Einstein's Dreams, where people felt they could live their longest, their best life, the further they were from the center of the earth. So I put my life on stilts because I feel I'm living my best life.
That's lovely. That's lovely to hear, and it's interesting. I feel like this piece you can kind of extrapolate it to like a meaning of the world almost, because you were saying how different perspectives and unique narratives can all come together to make one thing, which is kind of like what our current society is like today. So it's interesting. Well, thank you for that. For the insight. Anyone else like to say hello to the jurors? Say thank you. Just ask questions. Now is the time.
Yeah, hi, it's Andy Wool again. Just real quick, not about my work. I bought the this morning the hose face work. I love it. The simple use of material. It's a simple but striking piece. And I was just wondering if Jaynie had any thoughts about that piece.
This was a hard one for me because I did want to give it an honorable mention, but I didn't. But it's really, this is a very special piece. I love it. I love it. I love the fact that people can take something simple and make something simple and it still has a strong presence. So I'm with you on this one, Andrew.
Yeah. And that's why I agree. It's simple, but it's still striking. And
Yes.
at least in the photo, I love the various shades of green and blue. And anyway, I'm really excited to have it. And
Good for
that's
you.
all.
It's
Yeah.
it definitely has a presence and it's making a statement. It's really interesting.
Well,
I mean,
yeah,
if you want, I can say one other thing about it. And the reason I can say this is because I just went to MoMA and they had two Calder's wire sculptures from you know, all those figurines. I don't know if you ever saw Calder Circus,
Oh, yeah, I have.
but
Yeah.
this actually there's a sense of Calder in this piece.
Uh-huh. Yeah. There's,
Yeah.
yeah, I agree. Yeah. Or even, I don't know, I'm not, maybe Picasso, the,
Oh, yeah, some of
Yeah.
his abstract faces, yes.
yeah, uh-huh. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, it's special. It really is.
Yeah.
Good for
All right.
you. It's
Thank
important to collect work.
Right, right. Yes, yeah. All right, thank you. Really appreciate
You.
it.
Yeah, thank you. And normally, this is a work by Esperanza Alzona, and she's normally at closing receptions. Andrew, if you're gonna,
Oh,
be there, I'd be willing to bet she'll be there too, so you can have some
oh,
words with her.
great. Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
definitely
That's
be there.
exciting.
Hi, this is Beverly Kingwood. First of all, I just want to say thank you so much. I'm totally blown away because I've never submitted anything to an art show, or I mean, this is like my first time even putting my jewelry out. I actually have been sewing since I was 9 years old. My grandmother and great aunt passed that skill down to me, and I ended up going to school for fashion design. But the piece that I submitted, Ancestors Reclaimed Tied Necklace, is a representation of my ancestors paying homage to my great aunt and my grandmother who taught me the skills to create with my hands. So the piece has basically everything in it is recycled, or pieces like from my grandmother and great aunt's jewelry. So I left the fashion quote design arena and decided that I needed to try to do something that pretty much just, for me, more spiritual and something that made a meaning, what was meaningful for the environment. So, and to make a beautiful piece out of old pieces that are been repurposed, reclaimed, found, given to me by my grandmother, my great aunt, who are ancestors now. So basically the piece it has cowrie shells, which represents money. They use that a lot in Africa. That's how they used to pay for things. It has semi-precious stones. It has seashells in it. The knotting that I did is a form of macrame, which was a skill that my grandmother taught me. So pretty much I'm just really honored because like I said, I've never submitted anything. My background is basically in fashion design, and to become, for me, this is like, okay, yeah, you're an artist. So I just want to say,
Well, you are an artist. It's an amazing piece. And I felt it stood out because it was a wearable piece. It wasn't a piece of artwork to hang on the wall. And it really is special. It's really special.
thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, thank you so much, Miss Kingwood, for providing that insight. Um, like I said before, there's things that we just cannot tell from looking at a piece, and then you get to talk to the artist and learn that this piece has such a just an influence in like your family and how you came up, and I really appreciate you for sharing and even submitting and getting in. So congratulations again. Miss Summers said that she is driving, but she wants to say thank you, and she's truly honored to have her work included and recognized as a juror selection. Thank you so much, Miss Summers, for submitting your work, and congratulations on your award.
I just wanted to thank Jaynie for selecting my piece to be in the show.
Of course.
It's an honor. I did the cardboard head Roy. It's a medium that I've never ever worked in before. And I took a sculpture class and he said, you should make something out of cardboard. And I said, okay, we can do this. And all of a sudden it became not only a study in working in cardboard, but it also became informative for me as doing portraits, actually. I'm beginning to understand the planes of the face, I guess, is what really happened. So, but I just want to thank you for
Oh,
including
this is
me.
a great piece. Great. Thank you for submitting.
Yeah, no, it really is a striking piece, and the fact that it's not something that you've been doing for a long time, it's really impressive that you came up with this.
Very
Um,
impressive.
Nafisa is raising her hand. Yes, Nafisa, please feel free.
Hey, I just wanted to echo and say thanks for including my work, but also just a big kudos to everybody who submitted. I work pretty much alone, and I'm in Mozambique, so I'm really, really far from you guys. But it was really great to see my work up with others' pieces and really seeing that connectivity. So I just really wanted to acknowledge all of you all and just really say thank you to Jaynie for including my work and being able to see it as a group. So thanks.
You're welcome. I really have to say this was a very, very difficult process because there was a lot of really good work submitted to this show and I couldn't choose everybody's work. So the people who are selected, you just so much less, like it's so little what separated you, but your work is outstanding. So thank you everybody for submitting.
Yeah, I just want to echo Jaynie and say thank you all artists that submitted, and Nafisa, thank you for joining us from so far away.
Yes, oh my gosh.
My father was close to Mozambique not too long ago, so I know that I kind of know how that goes. But in any case, thank you so much. Janine Dab said thank you for the opportunity to share my work. Yes, Miss Dab, thank you so much for the trust and wanting to exhibit with us.
Just wanted to pipe in briefly to say also thank you to Jaynie.
Oh, thank
Also
you.
a first time, first art show I ever have entered into, and was delighted and honored to be chosen. So thank you for that. I sadly don't have any sort of deep meaning to this work. I owned a house on the Chesapeake Bay for many years and would ride my kayak up and down the coastline, stopping at beaches occasionally and picking up pieces of driftwood. There weren't just any piece of driftwood that have to be shaped by man in some way. So, you know, a 2x4 that had been worn, or just a cut of wood that had been, you know, cut on a machine in some way. There's one exception in this particular piece, which is sort of that squiggly piece of wood at the bottom, in the bottom, sort of left of center. But everything else in this piece and in all the pieces I've done so far, which is not that many, are shaped by man. So I would just find them on the beach, collect them, and then try to assemble them in some way that made sense to me and that was pleasing to the eye. But no deep meaning, unlike some of the artists. Maybe that's something I'll need to consider for future pieces. But thank you again for selecting it.
Well, I just want to say that even though you think that there's not a deep meaning, the fact that you notice things and collect them is pretty incredible because a lot of people would not even bother. So that alone gives your work a sense of like, there's a sense of a personal connection to the materials. So when you talk about your work, that's what you should say.
Okay.
That you have a personal connection to your materials.
Yeah, I don't feel like I don't quite have the vocabulary yet to express myself as a true artist, but something I can work on.
You can definitely work on it because this piece is really beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, it really is a stunning piece, and the location of it catches really good light behind it, so the shadow cast is really unique. And yeah, just to piggyback off of what Jaynie said is, you know, even if your piece doesn't have like a deeply rooted meaning, I think the fact that you see things and you can make them artistic, which if 100 people walked by these pieces of wood, I guarantee none of them would pick them up and organize them in this way. So I think that in and of itself is a gift. So I mean, when you're building up that vocabulary of art, you can say that it's a unique piece that only came from your head because it did. So congratulations on being selected.
Thank you.
I see Mark Cameron has his hand raised.
Yeah, I just want to echo what everyone else was echoing, which is thank you so much. This is first show I'm in outside of Baltimore, and I'm really excited. And I think for personal connection, you know, these are toilet paper roll tubes, and a lot of people have said like, my art isn't serious, and that's good because I enjoy whimsy and I love the form of the tubes, and I painted some white and red and I put them together and I thought, all right, this is, I'm happy with the form. So um, thank you for sort of seeing something in it and acknowledging it.
The thing is that people sometimes think you have to take forever to make a piece of artwork, or it has to be elaborate. But sometimes the most minimal, simplest things that people do not recognize as pure form, you did. And it's really special. Just the way Andrew did, just the way, I'm sorry, the Mark did. I mean, you're seeing something elegant in this form, and that is making the rest of us do the same thing. So thank you.
Yeah, no, like she said, thank you for making us see elegance in things that we wouldn't normally see it in. And every piece in this exhibition, and I hope most of you all, I know some of you all are a bit far, but I hope you all can really come in and see how the installation committee made the exhibition work together. Because I was telling Ms. Crimmins before, when you have an all painting show, you kind of have that common ground in terms of, okay, we know kind of what we're working with. But with a show like this, where there's such a variance in the works on display, it was fun to get them all to work together. And the team, I think they did a really good job of doing that. So
just wanted to recognize that I was my work was included in this great selection. It is not as serious as most of these, but to tell the story for the rest of the people here, my brother-in-law and I had a dispute for years over whether to serve lobster or turkey for Thanksgiving, and he was a traditionalist and he pretty much controlled it. He retired recently, and so I got to control it. We hosted, and I was the lobster guy, and he was the traditional turkey person. We served lobster and turkey, and this unit right here became called the Turkopster, became our centerpiece for the dining room table at Thanksgiving. And just to show, well, one, this kind of validation is a sort of a unserious artist doing unique things. I have a number of these kinds of things, and I had one in the Kensington Art Show recently that was a lobster that was reinvented into a standing entity, if you will, person, whatever, in a tuxedo. And so I bought the lobster, I ate the lobster, I recreated the pieces into something new, and I sold the lobster for $250. So I kind of figure like that's although it's levity, and a lot of people smile when they see the works, and it's not so much serious art as some of the other people here. Happy to be included, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. And like I say, I think all I need to do is eat more lobster.
This is a surreal piece. It's great. It's very great. It is. And sometimes humor is very important, especially now.
yeah, no, I mean, like you said, when people see it and they smile, that's a good thing. And then you're having fun, that's even better. So definitely 2 thumbs up to you, Gary.
Well, I wanted to also say thank you for including me. I guess I'm on the other end of the like not so simple or so whimsical. But I've been working with these plates for about 5 years and make mosaics based around this image of the Gibson girl, which is, mostly I'm interested in women's issues. I feel like the issues that were predominant 100 years ago have not really left us. And so it's a figure that represents those things. But anyway, thanks for including me.
Your work is beautiful. It's really beautiful. And, there's such a contrast between you and some of the other people who have used simpler forms, but the creation of your work is just, the work that goes into it is really amazing. It's really incredible.
Well, thanks. I really enjoy the piecing process. But speaking about it's harder.
But
You know,
your process comes through, and that's what makes the work so interesting, because you're a process-based artist, and the materials are very important and the process is important, and it really comes through in your work. It really does. It's beautiful.
thank you.
Yeah, one thing about Miss Berry's pieces I love is I always, when I see them, I try to go and see like how she got the pieces to fit where they fit. And looking at a picture of it, of course, you see it's intricate, but then seeing it in person and seeing like all the different variations of sizing and textures, it adds so much to it. So thank you so much
Well,
for submitting.
I would add, when I started making mosaics, I, wasn't really aware of any of there are rules, just I guess there are probably rules for every medium. And I didn't know the rules, so I just worked with broken pieces of dishes. And within the mosaic world, there's sort of a, a bias against that kind of work because, and I remember asking someone once, well, why do you not like that kind of work? It's called Picassiette. And he said, well, because no matter, how I look at it, it just looks like dishes to me. And so I thought, that I thought about that for years, and it sort of put me in this direction of then adopting the rules. The rules are rules of andamento. It has to do with the size and the shape of the tessera and the way that you lay it out. So adopting those rules and using this material that's not generally associated with those rules. So that's something about the formal process that I follow, but rather than the content.
Yeah, it's always interesting when you can kind of you can pull away from like the formal and proper way to do something and come up with kind of a method that incorporates your own personal style. And then you come up with something that's really unique because you're taking elements from other things and making them into something that's yours. So, like, it's very interesting.
I just wanted to thank Armani and Jaynie and MFA. This is my favorite exhibit of the year. And in fact, over the years, the Art of the Beholder I considered it my benchmark exhibit. Like if I got in, I felt like, okay, I'm on the right track, I'm doing good. And so to win an award this year, I'm going to be having a glass of champagne as soon as.
All right.
As you
Yes,
should.
wish I could share it with you.
Yeah, you can share it virtually. We'll be there with you vicariously.
Okay, thank you again. And I
Oh.
know putting together this show is probably the most difficult one because everybody's work is so different. So congratulations to MFA.
Yeah, definitely a team effort. Definitely a team effort. We have some people on the installation committee that were there for installation here, like David Diaz, Emma Petronzio, Miss Angela Petronzio, who's also the show chair. So thank you all so much for all the work that you did on that day and before that day to make this show possible. Thank you so much, Jaynie, for all the work that you did. From the first time I contacted you, you've just been so easy to work with, a real professional. And you just made the process really seamless. And I'm really grateful that I came across your work, and I hope that you found, some fulfillment and took some positives away from working with us, because it really was a pleasurable process for
You
me.
made it so simple, and everybody's work made it a pleasure. So thank you all.
Yeah, no, thank you. And that was actually segue into what I was going to say next is to the artists. Thank you all so much just for making, I always say the art makes the exhibition. Of course, there's other things that goes into it, but if it wasn't for you all, then there wouldn't be work on the walls. So to all the artists that submitted, thank you all so much. To the artists that submitted and didn't get an award, honestly, I wouldn't look at it as a bad thing. Ms. Crimmins had 211 works to go through and try to whittle that down to 65. I mean, it's not an easy task. She'll tell you the same. So definitely, if you didn't get an award, keep your head up and just look at the positives of you got selected. And even if you didn't get selected and you submitted, that's not a testament to the level of your work. It's just, not everyone can get in. So just keep trying. And here at MFA, we have a lot of opportunities for you to keep trying. So I think at this point, I'm going to close out and just say thank you all for coming. We're going to be uploading this to YouTube. If you want to watch it back, send it to your friends and fam. Oh, one thing before I go. I want to thank Miss Angela Petrunzio. She was the show chair for the show, and she, from the beginning, was really hands-on, really involved in the process. And if it wasn't for her, it would have taken on a different form. So definitely thank you so much, Miss Angela, for all that you did for the MFA and just helping me out throughout the process and helping the individual artists out throughout the process. And on behalf of myself and MFA, I just want to say thank you so much.
Thank you, Amani. I appreciate your work as well and all the support. Thank you.
Of course, of course. Well, thank you all. And I hope you have a great, great rest of your Sunday and have a great week ahead.